Hello, and welcome back to another episode of An Unorthodox CEO. I am, as always, Steve Pickering, CEO of Sussex Beds, and today we are joined by Jason Hillier.
Hello!
Jason Hillier, who's one of our furniture agents, and been working with us for more years than we really want to recall, I would guess. A few years.
Probably the best part of 30.
Is it 30 years? Oh my goodness, 30 years working with Jason. So a big name in the trade. I'm sure there's many people out there listening because we get a lot of trade listeners listening in. So a big audience for this one. And we'll be talking to Jason about how he first got into the furniture industry, the sleepy industry of beds, and what it's like being an agent, but also a love for rugby. See, we've covered a lot of football over these podcasts, but not a lot of rugby. Oh, there it is. There it is. What's that, Jason?
That is a Bath Rugby water bottle.
A bath, yeah. Is that your team?
It is indeed.
We'll come to that. See, I'm skipping ahead.
That could be a podcast in itself.
Brilliant. So before we get started, don't forget, hit the subscribe button because you don't want to miss any future episodes. Done? Brilliant, perfect. Let's crack on. Yeah, I can put that down now. Yeah, that's my notes. So, Jason, you've been in the industry quite a few. I think the first time I met you it was Sealy.
I was working for Sealy, and you were working in the Bexhill store.
Yeah.
Doing the marketing.
Was I really?
Yeah, you're fresh out the packet.
Yeah.
I'm known as Miles House Furnitures, trading as Sussex Beds.
Sussex Beds, and that was 30 years ago, you reckon?
I think it was. I started, I'm going to think about this now, it was about 2007, I think. Let me just have a little think.
2007?
I think we're seeing, let me just go back.
Or 97.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, no, 97. Time's getting away with me. 97. It was 97. It was 97.
Blimey. Yeah, I remember it well. Actually, it must be 97 because Josh is 30, isn't he? Next month.
Yes,
so,
it would have been
years.
because I'd done 5 years at a previous, and then I joined Sealy in 97.
Yeah. So tell us about your growing up and eventually how you found your way into this wonderful industry of ours.
You say growing up, I'm not actually sure
I am
grown up. I am sort of 17 in my own mind.
Yes.
But yeah, I was, family home is in North Wiltshire, a little town called Corsham, 7 miles east of Bath.
Yeah.
A very quiet sort of market town, yeah. I think now it's classified as end of the Cotswold Way. Now it's become very trendy to talk about the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful town, used for filming for Poldark and things like that, and peacocks roaming around. So a very nice place to grow up in a family environment with my brother, my mum and dad. So it was a great place to be. Went to school at the local comprehensive school, then went on to the local college doing business studies and marketing, and it was just a safe, nice place to grow up.
Yeah.
You know, the days when you went off on your bike all day and you went off to the park all day and your parents would just come and find you at the end of the evening, you know, in wonderful times, and heavily involved in sport in the area, particularly sort of rugby, which was sort of my grounding, and it is the sport in that part of the world, you know.
It is,
which is fantastic.
We don't have a lot of rugby down our way here, Sussex. Or do we? And I don't know.
No, you do. You've got Bexhill in Eastbourne. We've got a good setup there.
Yeah.
You've got sort of a bit further. If you travel up a little bit further.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. There isn't as much here.
No.
But that's just sort of by the nature of it. Rugby union tends to be very southwest dominated.
Does it? Yeah.
Wales a little bit more in the southeast. When I first moved to the southeast, I thought they don't really play rugby up there, but actually I was proven wrong.
Yeah. So is it just you and your brother?
Just me and my brother. Yeah, my brother Nigel, my older brother.
Older.
To be clear, older brother Nigel, who is an agent.
And here the rivalry begins.
Who is an agent for the Southwest and does cover the same companies as me, which is Shire Beds, G&G Comfy vacuum pack mattresses and Pure Care mattress protectors, and now the Norfolk pillows that we've incorporated into the range. So we do run the same. So it is quite interesting probably for principals.
That's really interesting how you've both ended up in the same industry. With the same...
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes for the principals, they find it quite challenging. We are similar, but also very different.
Yeah.
But it's great, you know. Like you're part of a family business. Actually, it's actually a nice way to conduct your business life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was the growing up there, and then at the age of 18, I went off to college to Bournemouth. It's now called Bournemouth University, but it was the Dorset Institute of Higher Education.
Is that where you went? No. Oh, okay.
And did business studies and marketing.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. It was just fantastic, you know. Great that you're covering business studies, marketing, which was the sort of trendy thing back late 80s. Law and accounts and stuff. So it was a really good grounding, you know, and great experiences, obviously moving away from home from a small West Country town to a bigger sort of place, meeting people from all different walks of life, getting an education some of the time, and quite a lot of rugby, and meeting some wonderful people who've become my closest friends that I've now gone on to do travelling and lots of things with, you know, so it was great.
So when you went off to university, or did you have in mind that this was an industry you wanted to get to, or what did you want to do when you were younger?
It's kind of weird because I sort of wasn't sure, I think, to be honest. It was something in sales and marketing, but a bit like, what was marketing, or what is marketing? What was marketing then, what's marketing now? It was quite a sort of trendy thing to say you're going to do, I think. I always sort of enjoyed sales, so I think that was where I was sort of looking to head, but with a marketing sort of angle on it all. But wasn't really sure, to be honest.
No.
The fact is, I thought I can go to college. I like Bournemouth. I like the sea. I'm just going to go there. I didn't look anywhere else. You know, I've been on this journey with my oldest daughter, you know, sort of similarly. I can see her sort of mind, and she's ended up at Cardiff having a wonderful time. But I can remember thinking back then, you know, they arrived in Bournemouth. They put us up in hotels. So they out of season hotels. So, you know, you got 20 or 30 young people in a hotel at a college. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing.
We're not going to talk about anything like that at all. That's probably left on the shelf for another day. I
thought you said there was nowhere
or a late night pint. But it was an amazing time. I met some wonderful people and some of my closest friends now. You know, Jeff Banksy, I ended up going travelling with him. And I went interrailing. And then when I finished college, I went backpacking around the world.
Wow.
For the best part of a year. Which, you know, is just the best thing you can do at any age. And, you know, I'd go again tomorrow if I could, if I'd be honest with you. You know, and that was just wonderful experiences and learning to be self-sufficient, you know, working as we were, doing some crazy jobs. So that was really good.
So where was your first jobs?
So when we were travelling, backpacking, so we'd met some girls when we were interrailing in between studying from New York. So they said, why don't you come out here? We want to get to Australia, but we didn't have enough money. So obviously we just flew to New York. They picked us up, went to Connecticut to a beautiful house, and we sort of sat down and, you know, and then the dad said, right, what are you limeys going to do? As they like to refer to us English. And I said, don't know really. He said, well, you know, we had some friends over before. They hired a car and drove across America. And me and Banks just looked at each other and think, we ain't going to do that, are we? Haven't got enough money. So we actually got in touch with some friends that we were at college with from Ulster, Northern Ireland, and they picked us up and we went down to New York City and lived on the outskirts of a place called Yonkers, and ended up being immersed into the Irish community in New York, working, which was an absolute fantastic eye-opener. This was 1990. Being an English person in New York was quite exciting, quite dangerous at times, but we got looked after really well by the Irish community, who were absolutely fantastic. You know, we were mindful of the fact we were English people in New York. It was at the height of the troubles in Ireland. So sometimes, you know, we maybe weren't as welcome in places, but we never felt, you know, anything untoward was going to happen. They looked after us. So we worked in New York doing all sorts of things. We convinced a guy that Banksy and I, that we'd done building work. So in this house in upstate New York, he was going to build a 2-story extension.
Yeah.
Us, we'd done building, we'd obviously said yes, we hadn't done anything. Anyway, we bullshitted our way through. And we built a 2-story extension on this house, most of it from wood. Yeah. But he would, the guy was Bill Bloom, he was an absolute eccentric and alcoholic, but very funny. And actually lent us a car at one point, but we built this extension. But of course, all the neighbours then loved the fact you had these English guys willing to do anything for money. So they'd get us over to clean their windows when their friends arrived, of course. You know, again, you got these Brits here, these Limeys, so it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing things like removal. So I'd go down to Washington's on a removals truck and do removals down there. Yeah. You know, and you'd be in a lorry park, and then, you know, you look over and the bloke's got a gun. You know, quite normal, but not for this, you know, youngish lad from the West Country. I wasn't used to such things. Yeah. No. So we did some fantastic things, and then, you know, down to Florida for Christmas in Florida and all around there. Came back and then flew to Australia. Yeah. So you arrive in Australia, start in 91. I think there's a Gulf War was about to start in Iraq. So it was sort of heightened tensions around the world. But then we just started finding jobs across Australia and ended up actually for a month in a place called Mildura Valley in Victoria picking grapes. So we'd been on a farm and you'd be up at 6 a.m. picking grapes underneath these vines with mad Australian fruit farmers and fruit pickers. It was just amazing. Yeah. And they took to us and would then take us off yabby fishing out in the bush, chasing roos, out on the river, and it was just wonderful times. Wow. But again, you know, I look back now, I mean, my parents must have been a nervous wreck because there's no phones and stuff. And very early on, I was in a picking hut with the guy that I was picking with. Banksy's girlfriend had joined us. They were in another picking hut, and the first or second night, this guy's just pulled out a lock blade. I heard it click, and he's come over and he's just ran it across the top of my belly, not actually cut the skin. I'm like, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? And he's just trying to show me he was sort of the daddy and stuff, and I'm thinking, I've got to share a hut with this bloke for 4 to 6 weeks. So next day, cycled up to a farm, had some friends that were also fruit picking, borrowed a tent. I just slept in the paddock for the whole time. Yeah. And actually this bloke turned out to be all right, but it was just his way of exercising. Yeah. Scary. Yeah, it is scary. It is scary, especially when I've got a daughter probably to embark on similar things in the next few years. Yeah. But you've got to learn to deal with this sort of stuff. It's experience. It is experience. And, you know, and Australia's an amazing country and amazing people. We actually then hitchhiked from Victoria all the way up to Brisbane, which, if you look on a map, is a fair old distance. Yeah. Again, with these long-distance truck drivers, not like the ones getting these massive sort of road trains and stuff, and these guys are interesting characters, you know, and you've got to spend... But we hitchhiked all the way up to Brisbane, where we joined another mate of mine, Jay Baldwin, I was at school with, who was hooked up in Brisbane. And so we just then... I did an ice cream man there, I worked at... State of Origin, Rugby League grounds, did all sorts of jobs now. But at that time, whilst we're travelling, we get to Yirongapilly in Brisbane, and my mate Baldy, he's on crutches. I'm like, what's going on? He's a lifeguard. He'd been working at a water park and severed his Achilles heel. So he's on crutches. Anyway, we're then playing cricket one day in the garden, you know, Poms against the Aussies as it was. And my mate Banksy's, we've got a picket fence as a cricket bat. He's put the fence, gone for a short single, put the post in, it's stuck in the ground, he's gone straight into his calf and opened his calf up. So that's pretty gruesome, right? Yeah. Anyway, Jay Baldy does lift and elevate, compress and all that because he's a lifeguard, and we call the paramedics. I'll never forget this. And the paramedics turned up and said to my mate Banksy, "You okay, mate? You've had much to drink?" Banksy said, "A couple of beers." He goes, "Oh, mate, I've had 5 or 6. True Australian style. At that time, Brisbane was really Hicksville. It's changed. I went back in 2003 for the World Cup, and it's changed a lot. But yeah, anyway, so long story cut short, Banksy got patched up. We carried on with a bit of travelling, went out to a place called Fraser Islands where you camp, and it's amazing, 4-wheel driving and dingoes everywhere. But his actual injury got gangrene. He went to hospital, he had gangrene. He's had a skin graft. So he's in Townsville Hospital for about 6 weeks. So I've got Baldy on crutches, he's going to have a skin graft. We're in a backpackers in Townsville. Yeah. All challenging times anyway. The two of those eventually had to go home. And I then travelled up for the rest of northern Australia, then up through Asia with Jackie, up through Bali, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, up to Chiang Mai. At the time, was travellers, but not as busy as it is now. You know, at the moment, everyone knows someone's doing these sort of things because it's more accessible. But at the time, it was very backpacker-esque. Yeah. And it was at the time when AIDS, talk about AIDS, mosquitoes. There was cases of, people being drugged and having, parts of their body removed and being tattooed. It was all, but all through this is all through sort of the news and the press and backpackers. Yeah. But you can't let that get in the way of what you want to do.
No.
So we just cracked on and had an amazing time.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
So what inspired you to go and do that at that time? Was it someone else or was it?
I just wanted to see the world.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like my dad did national service, right? I'd love to have done national service, 2 years in the army. That's all I want to do. I don't want to join up. Obviously, that's way, all gone before. And I just wanted to take off. And actually, my brother, funny enough, was in India for a year. Yeah. His now wife was doing a 2 years VSO in Nepal. So I just fancy travel. I love travelling. I love meeting different people, different places. Yeah. And like I said, I would go tomorrow if I could.
Yeah.
I may well.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, it's just, and I would encourage anybody. And I remember when we were interrailing, we met a woman at the time who was in her 60s. So when you're like 19, 20, that seemed old. Yeah. But she was just backpacking on her own. I remember thinking, you're rock and roll. This is cracking. Yeah. And now you learn, it doesn't matter. Anyone can do it. Yeah. So it was just an urge. Yeah. But I think that's in you. I just love travel, which is probably why I've ended up being a travelling salesperson. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I like being in different places and meeting different cultures and seeing things.
Do you think that really gave you a different platform for life going onwards, or because
yes, I think definitely it gives you an appreciation of life, an understanding of different peoples and cultures, and how things are in different parts of the world.
Communication.
Yeah, how you communicate, how you treat people, and be resourceful. That suddenly, right, I need to get from Bali to the other islands and up the mainland, and how we're going to travel. Within a budget. I didn't have a lot of money. Do you know what I mean?
No. So resourceful. Problem solving.
Yeah, and just ending up in hostels with people from all around the world.
Yeah, and had to make that work.
Just giving you an appreciation of different countries. Yeah. Religions, cultures. 1 minute you're in Thailand, you're at a floating market, then you've got a Buddhist monk walking around, and then you've got visitors from different parts of the world you never met in a little town in North Wiltshire. No, that's why I'm just a country boy. Yeah. So it was great, and I would urge anybody, you get the chance, just do it. Yeah. Well, like now, my oldest daughter, she's just finished her first year at Cardiff. Picked her up a week ago last Saturday. Dropped to this Saturday at Heathrow. She's in Sri Lanka doing turtle conservation. Goodness. And having the time of her life. Yeah. And I said to her, just go and enjoy it. Yeah. Just enjoy it, Yeah. Yeah. So I think it just makes you just appreciate life as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So how did you go from that into furniture?
So how did we go? I think it was destiny.
Yeah, right.
I think it was destiny. So the reason I think it was destiny, my late father Ken was group sales director at Airsprung.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Nigel and I, we grew up in the shadow of the whole Airsprung group. Okay. Beds have always been part of our life. Okay. So when we were younger, we would help and work. And I was thinking about this the other day, and obviously we're experiencing price changes daily, hourly. Yes. Yeah. I can remember having to do a mail shot to all the customers, helping stuff them in A4 envelopes. Because they had hundreds of customers. Yeah. So we would go in, stick the label on the A4 and put the brochure and the price list in to mail it out, because that's how you communicated. Yeah. And we'd go in and help in the factories, stock takes and stuff like that. So it was always sort of around us. Okay, so Ken Dad is always known to us, as group sort of sales director at Airsprung. And then Nigel left school at 6. He worked in the costing office. But I'd come back from travelling. I was working for Hammerite Paints. I was a merchandiser, which was great. Just straightening up tins, going to B&Q, Texas, do it all, getting some manager to tick a thing and order 2 cartons of Hammerite light paint. Great. We could do it with your eyes closed. So I wanted to get on the road then. I decided I'd like to be on the road selling and started looking for jobs. How do you look for jobs then? The Grocer. You get the Grocer magazine. Yeah. You know, ask people, get the Sunday Times or all that sort of stuff. Anyway, Ken, Dad said to me, he said, here, there's a job, cabinet maker. Do you remember the cabinet maker?
Cabinet maker, yeah.
The magazine. Everyone had the cabinet maker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Came out every Friday. I can remember Espen, they'd have 1 copy or 2 copies of cabinet maker, a circulation on the front, be passed with initials. You tick it like the directors when they've read it all.
Yeah.
And Dad would bring it home. We'd look at the cabinet maker.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's gone.
Yeah,
and look for jobs. But anyway, there was a job in there for a regional sales executive for Sealy UK.
Yeah.
Part of the Silent Night Group.
Yeah.
So at that time, so where we are 97, the bedding industry was dominated by air-sprung beds and Silent Night beds.
Yeah.
Right, they were the two.
Yeah.
Silent Night number 1, I don't know what they're probably doing, 40, 50 million, 97, air-sprung 20, 25 million. They were dominating the market and had a bit of a cartel, if the truth was known, you know, when it came to sort of pricing and products they were going to run before the market opened up.
Yeah.
So Dad said, there's a job here, regional sales executive for Sealy. They're part of Silent Night. You won't get it because I'm work for S1 Group Sales Director. He said, but it'd be a good experience for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you what? Just say that again. He said, well, it's a job for regional sales executive for Sealy.
Yeah.
It was for sort of North London and sort of East Anglia. He said, you won't get it, but it'd be a good experience for you. Oh, you bloody what? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Right. And sure enough, went for the interviews and I got the job.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I really wanted it, to be honest.
No.
But it was just to sort of prove...
Dad.
Yeah. But, you know, knowing Dad, that was probably part of his psychology to say, well, you know, you actually do want it and I'm just playing you anyway. So that's happened. I got the regional sales executive for Sealy, for North London and East Anglia. So the day I turn up, Pete Ruddle,
Yes.
he's been promoted to Southern Sales Manager. I've gone to Croydon in Surrey, apparently. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
And we get there. He says, right, okay. He says, look, you've got this. We've employed you for this area, North London and home counties. Yeah. But obviously, at the time, my brother was working for Slumberland as a rep in North London and the home northern counties there. So what we thought was, it might be better if we put you straight into the southeast because Pete Ruddle's been promoted to sales manager and you'll just slot straight into his area. Yeah. I didn't really care. I said, yeah, whatever, fine. It suited me because I was going to live in South London with my mates anyway. Yeah. So the area at the time, by today's standards, quite small. It was South London, without Kent, Kent, Sussex, Surrey, Hampshire, and the Isle of Wight. Mm. But at the time, of course, they had 8 reps, 4 for each, north and south. Yeah. So that's how I ended up with the job.
And did they know who you were, like connected with?
Yeah, I think they did. I think very much so. Yeah, I think it was sort of all, you know, being the trade we're in, everybody knows everyone, sort of talks and gossips. Yeah. So yeah, they just full understanding. You know, at that time, you know, Airspring and Silent were quite competitive. And how I said it was destiny. I can remember in the 80s when Airspring decided to go into MFI. I can remember it. I was at school. I can remember Dad, you know, discussing it and talking it. You know, I'm thinking, this is big stuff, isn't it? Yeah. And now I know it was huge stuff, you know, to suddenly say they had thousands of independents, big player, going into MFI and the difference that made. So that was like Airspring's crown jewel. Silent Night weren't dealing with it at the time, but they had their big accounts. But at the time, the business was all done through loads of independents. Yes. Mail order. Yeah. You remember the mail order catalogue? So, huge on that. And then it was MFI, Courts. Yeah. Allied and Alders department store, which I'd never heard of till I moved here because when I did this interview for Sealy, they were talking about Alders. I think, I know what you're talking about.
Isn't that incredible? All of those names you listed, all those big retailers, all gone.
Sad. It's sad, isn't it, how it's sort of changed, but is it any surprise? Because things die and new shoots come through. Yeah. Look how it's sort of changed. Yeah. You know, so... You know, I look at that. I felt very privileged to work for Sealy, and it was amazing. They were the crown jewel of the Silent Night Group. Yeah. They were really well run. John Hancock, you know, a real gentleman, ran a lovely business. They had a solid sales structure. You know, you were well managed, well trained. They spent a lot of money on training, and I think so much about looking at what's happened in my career, it is all about people. People are really key to everything. And Sealy got that early on.
Yeah.
You know, Sealy at that time, they used to every week send you a blue pouch, right, with your figures on for the week, and an STO2, your sales figures for each company. It's as good as I've ever seen from anybody else. That's
No.
1997. You know, average selling price, what sold, top sellers. So when I come in, and probably to you, hey Steve, guess what? Crown Jewel's your best seller, your average selling price is 195, or cost price. And they were on it. And also at the time for training, which they were brilliant at, training us and then helped to train the staff. Do you remember? We used to have those TVs with videos. We looked like an early Deliveroo driver. We'd come in carrying these TVs into stores to do training. Carry them in the back of your car. I mean, they were a nightmare, particularly if you're covering like London. You'd be parked in like a multi-storey Brixton and you've got to... But they had the videos to take into the stores. And they gave you a car phone. You could use it for 1 hour, quarter a week, 15 minutes a day, and woe betide you if you went over it. You know, the managers would be on the phone, oh, I see you've used 1 hour 21 this week. But we were privileged to have that because it helped us do our job. And we had a fax machine.
A fax,
And every Monday, before 12 o'clock, we used to phone you to get your orders. You may remember, to fax through to the office. I mean, my neighbour in South London, she used to go mad about this fax going off, but that's just doing my job. But she didn't know. All the noises. But they were ahead of their time, Sealy, and learnt so much from it. And it's really interesting. So many people I worked for in that sales team have gone on to be extremely successful as agents or in management of directors or MDs of businesses.
So good founding,
Good people. They hopefully selected good people and they invested in their people. I think there's a thing called investors in people time. I can't remember.
Do you think that doesn't happen now then?
Not enough, no. No. If I was, well, I'm 17, as I said to you in my mind. If I was starting out now, where would I go to possibly get that type of training? We're not training in sales and sales training. They did a thing called defensive driving. You know, they in the whole Sinai group, they sat an ex-police driving instructor called Adrian Schirmer about defensive driving, how to keep yourself alive and protection, you know, when you're driving, you know. Because, you know, you pass your test, no one tells you anything else.
No.
And I just remember things like that and getting sales trainers in to work with us. So, yeah, I don't think those opportunities are in our trade so much. We know we're all getting older and there's less younger people coming in. But some of the guys that I work with, their sons are coming in, which is good. As long as they hopefully get the training. You know, it's not a given that you know, you're only as good as your next sale and all that sort of stuff.
So it's interesting you say at that period, Silent Night, Sealy, Airsprung were the dominant players. What happened to, you know, that fragmented away? Because it's not the case today, is it?
Well, you know, in the light of recent news with the Airsprung Group going to administration, it's really sad.
That is sad.
Personally, really sad. Having grown up with it, you know, I can remember growing up, Mum, when Nigel was at Slumberland, I was at Sealy and Dad was at Airsprung, you know, we'd have a Sunday lunch. Mum would say, no more talk, please, about beds. You probably get it. No more talk about beds. No more bed talk. Yeah. 2 minutes later, have you heard this? Blah, blah. And that's what makes it work, all about people in our wonderful industry. But it changed. I think what happened is the cartel that they had, and they clearly had a cartel, the two big players, people then that had worked in these companies had gone and set up on their own, particularly in Yorkshire. We see a massive explosion, and now some highly successful bedding companies that have come out of it. So I think that upset the apple cart a little bit. And sometimes people that were in these businesses left or retired. Maybe the people that came in maybe didn't understand the industry as much as the previous incumbents. And I mean that very respectfully. But, you know, with this, at the time, sort of going into sort of 2000s, groups were starting to dominate, weren't they? Groups were opening sort of left, right and centre. Maybe that's where they saw the business was. But, of course, when you go down that route, it can affect your other business, it can affect your profits, your production and how you sort of do things. So I think it's evolved, isn't it, basically? But, you know, I loved working for the Sinai Group. They were fantastic. When it was time to move on, I did. And seeing the demise of Airsprung is really sad.
Especially with the
really sad.
Yeah.
And even now, so many good people that came out of there that built that into a great business, but sadly that's life.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't dwell on it, and there can be reasons for it, but but out of that there's green shoots, and luckily I'm working for some companies now which are absolutely fantastic. That have probably come out of that change, and we're seeing some young businesses that started probably in those early 2000s have grown into some big companies. There's some great companies there.
So what makes one successful and one less successful? What do you think?
People, number one.
Yeah.
People, number one, and having that desire and wanting to listen.
Yes.
And move things forward.
Yeah.
So I work for 3 companies. Okay?
Yes.
I work for Shire Beds.
Yeah.
I work for Comfy G&G, and I work for Pure Care. Shire themselves, 3 years ago, had to make some decisions, which are the right decisions for them to drive their business forward. And they had to make those brave decisions.
So difficult decisions.
Difficult decisions, but the right decisions at the right time.
So are you saying there that, some don't, they sit on and just...
I'm going to quote Simon Zamet, God rest his soul, we lost in 2022, who was the king of mattress protection, protector.
Absolutely.
And he had a fantastic phrase, casual and careless.
Yeah.
Casual and careless, would often point at me, probably more my brother, you're casual and careless, and I think this can happen in businesses. You rest on your laurels.
Get too comfortable.
Of course you do.
Yes.
We are only as good as our next sale.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what happened yesterday, last week or the week before.
Yeah.
You've got to look at it and analyse it, but you've got to move forward.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes maybe it's not having the right people in these businesses.
Yeah.
And maybe the right people aren't out there for those businesses, cultures of businesses and such like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's sort of part of it. And market conditions have changed.
Yeah.
And maybe, companies didn't have the desire to change.
Yeah. It's an interesting word, isn't it? Desire.
Yeah, I think that's it, and I can see it. I've worked for many different companies, and I've spoken to many different companies, but that's one of the things that I sort of look for. I will talk to anyone that rings me about possibly working for them, but you can just feel it. You can just. It's like buying a house. I always think, within 30 seconds, could you work with them, and have they got what my customers want? Because as a commercial agent, I work for you guys as much as I work for the principals. I'm the intermediary. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
And that's what I see. And I've heard lots of talk and yes, we're going to do this. Yes, we could do this. Yes, we could. Yes, we could. But it's action. It's action, not words.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really important. And it's one of my stock phrases actually when I'm coaching. Action, not words.
Yes. And I think that's what we've seen from Shire. It's there's that desire to want, but also, as we've brought in products and we're doing some really good business with you, but it's how you react when something goes wrong, which is probably more important than the things that go right. And I know back from when we first started, there was a few little issues, but you're on it. Yeah, it's changed, it's sorted, and we move on. And that confidence is kept in place. I think too often, when there's problems, it's bury ahead, don't want to know, barriers, and once you lose the sales force in the stores, or that's it. And I think that's what you've been good at.
Well, thank you. I think again back to Sealy training. You're judged on your customer service, number one. There's an issue, it needs sorting. Yeah. And they were really, really good at it. They had a great office. There's a lady called Jennifer around the office. She was first class. Yeah. And you learnt then it had to be dealt with because you've got an upset customer. Yeah. And you're dealing with that upset customer. Yeah. One of them in your store spending X amount, you've dealt with them, and now they're upset and needs dealing with. And it has to be dealt with. Yes. And I think that's one thing, to be fair, the new team, if you like, at Shire have installed, and they've embraced it, 100%, and that's really important, and companies that don't do that, that want to fight it, and the classic, no one's got an ugly child, it's not our mistake, it's them. Yes, come on, trust, you've employed a sales force, entrust them to manage those accounts. Yes. Yeah. Trust them.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And customer service is top of the list, you know.
Yes.
And we get issues, it's manufacturing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, people say, oh, no, we haven't got a problem. Oh, really? Shit happens, right?
It does.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've been in many factories, I've worked in many factories.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard work.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, of course there is, you know. And, you know, so many things can go wrong, you know. And, you know, times people, oh, well, that shouldn't, you're cute. Yeah, I understand all of that. Yeah. But it's happened. Yeah. Let's deal with it quickly and move on.
Absolutely.
And I always say to people, when it does get a bit heated, it's not like your team losing on a Saturday, is it? No. It's not that important. If they don't laugh, you're in trouble because you know they don't like sport.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah, but really, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Let's not beat ourselves up about it all, you know? No. And like grown-ups, then move forward.
Yeah, yeah.
And make sure the customer at the end is happy. And I think that's really, really important. So, yeah.
No, and I think you also made a valid point of your role, and I think we've spoken about this in several of our podcasts, is a very challenging role because you're working on behalf of the person that pays you, but also...
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But also, you're that middle manage, isn't it? Yeah. You're looking after our interests, their interests, and trying to come to a compromise in the centre and keep everything balanced. And that's a very difficult job to do.
Yes, it is. It is peculiar.
Yeah.
It is peculiar. And people say, what do you do for a living? You know, first we say, I sell beds. Yeah. I sell mattress protectors.
Do you really?
Do you really? Yeah. Do you really? I need a new one. And I normally say, guess what? I've got a garage full. Should we go and get one now? Oh, no. I didn't need one. But yeah, actually, in all seriousness, the job of an agent is a serious role because you're entrusted to understand the mechanics of your customers and what they need or if you think they might need and to get the right products to the right customers and to make sure the principal can perform. There is no point somebody, you know, I'm very upfront, what I run, what I do, I'm very honest, and I think it's important that we try and marry the customer and the principals up and we form a partnership because it is a partnership. You know, it's not a short term, it's not like dear old John in his day, when he 24 of those, send 24 in, 24 of those, smash back, don't worry about trading, just get them in, half price, they've gone by Monday. Yeah. This is a long-term journey, it's all about your customer journey with your customers and my journey with my principals with you and bringing it together. And it is hard at times and it's very lonely. Yeah. You know, I'm lucky, you know, I don't want to give him too much airtime, but Nigel, you know, we are very close and it helps, you know, because there are some tough times sometimes, you know, long times on your own, but I think I quite enjoy my own company. Yeah. But there is times where you need to bounce things off of people who understand it from this end. Yeah. But the principals I all work for are all great people. I will say that, you know.
What do you find the most stressful?
What do I find the most stressful?
Or challenging?
Yeah. I'm pretty impatient. I think I like to get answers straight away. And I think, you know, the smartphone has got a lot to answer for all of us in life in general. Yeah. There's no excuses. No. You know, you want an answer within half a day minimum. Yes. So I think sometimes that can be frustrating. And what can be frustrating when something hasn't happened as you believed it should. Yeah. And it does happen. We're all human. Yeah. Things don't always happen as they should for whatever reason. There's lots going on in people's lives. And when that doesn't happen, that can be a bit like, ugh. Yeah. But again, it's not life-changing, is it? No. But because I care, and I do care, I feel it. You know, I feel your pain. You know, with this current situation that's happened since the 28th of Feb in the Middle East, you know, this pricing, I feel it. You know, that you've got to ring and go through, look, my principal's been hit with these price increases now. We've got to implement them. Appreciate your own promotion, you've got tickets and you can't just press a button, but I feel it. I really feel it. And that the last couple of weeks I do this, it's been pretty tough, I have to say. So that, I find that quite sort of challenging. But it's what we do, right? Yeah. So when it's good, when your sales are great and everything's great and you're, you know, peacocking around and loving it, but when it's tough, you've got to roll your sleeves up and get in the trenches. Yeah. You know, that's how it is. So
and don't bury your head.
Don't bury your head. Never, ever not take the call. No. Not answer an email or fudge it. Yeah. Because you guys need answers. Yes. You know. So, you know, like I say, I work for 3 really good companies, and I think we get things done.
Yeah, no,
that's just important. But
yeah.
I think it's because we understand. As an agent, I understand what needs to be sorted. The repercussions of not getting that customer service sorted, or not giving that information, or helping you, it's going to affect your sales and your business.
Yeah,
that's not right, is it? I'm here hopefully to make a difference to your sales and to my principals.
Yes, and it's a long-term view, isn't it?
It's a total long-term sort of deal. I'm not into short-term.
No,
it's partnership.
A little bit here, just
There is always somebody cheaper.
Yeah,
always somebody cheaper. Yeah. And we know that, and I'm sure when you're on the buying side, someone can say, I can do that for a little bit cheaper, a little bit this. Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen when I need X and Y?
Exactly.
Are you going to be there?
Exactly.
Truth is, possibly not, because you haven't got the money in to do it.
No, I absolutely. And to change, it's all very well being slightly cheaper, but changes, it's expensive, it's disruptive. So, we want to find people that work well, are honest, and when things go wrong, they're there picking up. And that is more important than saving a few pennies.
It's
here.
good, and I sort of embrace that, and I think we make sure the principals understand that as well. And I think they do. It's really important, and I think it isn't about price, because it's about making sure all those things happen for you, and keeping the sales team on board. We don't like change. No. We accept it. We don't really like change, do we? So let's try and get it right and make it work. And when it works, it's just easy for people.
Yeah. I suppose another thing you get to see, which is really interesting, what makes a great retailer? Because you see everyone, What do you think makes a great retailer?
Good question. I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, it's having the right people.
Right.
Which is crucial.
That's interesting. So
the
right people come absolutely number one.
The right people.
Yeah.
And again, with some passion. That have got passion and desire.
Yeah.
And willing, go back to Sealy again, don't do one thing 100% better, do 100 things 1% better. The plus ones we used to talk about.
Yeah.
Chris Stafford, I can hear him now, I'm here training. And it's true, and I think that's what makes a good reader. Those that are constantly loving their business, trying different things. Some things work, some things don't. But giving the consumer a good customer experience, whether it's online or in a store, or both, as it pretty much is now. Yeah. That when that consumer goes in, they are getting proper service and being listened to. And the whole journey all the way through. Yeah. Making sure stores are clean, tidy, possibly air conditioned, promotions, staff dressed like they are ready to act, asking the right questions, working with them, listening. Things are merchandised properly, headboards on straight, foot mats, casters aren't broken, drawers aren't broken, things aren't hanging off the wall, bits of plastic, bits of cardboard, dirty cups everywhere, plates, your kids' own work, watching a TV. Make it a whole customer experience for people. And I think that's what makes a great retailer. And people are all the time changing, evolving. We're seeing it, whether you're doing a promotion this week or next week, whether you're doing Instagram, TikTok. And the same on the website, the same for e-tailers, they're having to constantly evolve everything. And ultimately, giving the customer the opportunity to buy the best product that you can offer. And the same with mattress protectors, It's not for us to decide that they shouldn't have one. You've got to give them the opportunity, so why don't you present it? Same with pillows. So I think it's a combination of things, Steve, that makes a great retailer. I don't think there's one that fits all. And I think also having a mixture of people in as well. And different characters. Some sales staff interact better with different types of people.
Yes, I do.
You can just see that, and just trying different things, which you're obviously not scared of in your day, are you? Trying different things.
There's always a story that we talk about, isn't it, with the mattress protectors? And I know it's a protector bed, and we'd been a budget mattress protector that everybody used to have, retailing at £20, and we used to sell, I think, 5, 6 of them a month in this one store. And you brought in this big stand and said, look, give these a go. Premium mattress protectors. Stop anything, because the other ones really were just pads.
Yeah.
And okay, well, we give them a go. And I remember we put them in for a month, didn't we? And it was before we were really into the full data. I think we were just starting to collect data. And I think after a month, we had only sold 4 of these mattress protectors. Yeah. And we were about to go, let's shove them away. Yeah. We used to sell 6, 8, 10 of the other ones. But then when you'd done the maths, the premium ones were retailing at £100. Yeah. And we'd sold 4, which was £400 at retail.
Yeah.
And then you'd done the maths. Okay, we'd done 6, 8 of the other ones at £20. But that's only, I'm going to do maths quick here, £160. We doubled our revenue by selling less.
And that's what we used to talk about with Simon Zammit and then latterly with Paul. We had many of these conversations where we would sit down and go through the figures and say, look what revenue. Mattress protectors should give you your highest profit per square foot in a retail store.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the training is crucial.
Yes.
We've done 2-hour sessions before with Simon. I mean, he would, stand there with green hats on, with dealy boppers on. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Dress up in mattress protectors to add some theatre. But it works.
Yeah. And then we would take that and you roll that out across 10 stores.
Yeah.
13 stores. And the difference was incredible.
No, it's... and that's what makes a great retailer.
Yes.
Because you're willing to adapt and evolve.
And I think the other big opportunity, which I know you're working on, and this isn't about a promotion for stuff, but it's pillows.
You're after my job.
Yeah, it's pillows, isn't it?
Totally.
The importance of the pillow on the mattress is just as important.
It's like when we say about mattress protectors, right? If you were a furniture store and you sold a table, or the customer bought a table and no chairs, would you think that's odd?
Yeah.
Well, why would you sell a bed without a protector then?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just... And the same with pillows. They're going to probably buy some.
Yeah.
So why don't you give them the opportunity to buy them from you?
Yeah, but I think it goes further than that. You think we all go on about every mattress, about the support and the back care and coming up into you. And then you find out that they've got the cheapest budget pillow, which is just a flat. You want to hold your head up so you're...
I think something like a third of your weight is possibly on your head.
Yes.
So the pillow's got to be right.
Yeah.
And this, again, is what Pure Care will get right with this.
Yeah.
It's not only we've got the products, we know that, it's the training.
Yeah.
Really important.
Yes.
Because every time you sell a bed, hopefully you've got the mattress protector, because you need 2, because one's in your wash.
Yes,
very
you
important.
do.
And you need...
I'm not very good at that bit.
Yeah,
I'm happy with one, but that's where I'm not as good. I'm not the salesperson.
And we need the pillows.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. So that adds to being a great retailer, because you're giving people a great experience.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're giving them the opportunity to buy everything they're probably going to buy.
Yeah.
Or they probably need it, but no one's actually shown them why they need it.
Yeah.
So it is interesting, and I deal with some wonderful retailers that I've dealt with for 30 years, and e-tailers, and those that are growing and successful are investing in their business.
Yes.
They're all the time just turning the turf over, which you've got to do.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
None of us can rest on our
Yeah,
lives.
no, it doesn't stop.
You've got, and the same for the principals. They've got to be looking at what is next, what trends, what can we do, what can work, what's out there, what's in the market. Foam has experienced huge surcharges, over 50%. Whatever products are out there, what can we use, what would work, what won't work, and keep looking for different things. It's all little things, even talk about protectors. So you're doing protectors, where's your pillow protectors? Because you need, and you start doing, as we do go through the calculation, all extra revenue. So
absolutely, yeah.
It's important.
And you've touched on your brother. And
That's enough. I'll do, thank you.
So is there a rivalry? Yeah.
There is a rivalry, but probably because we're both salespeople.
Yeah.
But there is a rivalry. And I sort of laugh, I'm smiling to myself now when we were all part of Breesley. It was really competitive.
Yeah.
And in Salis.
Yes.
Which was a non-vacuum pack side, which was hugely successful.
Mm.
Sometimes the figures, there'd be like hundreds of pounds between us.
Yeah.
It was bizarre for like months and months and years.
Yeah.
To be fair, he probably did better with Salis, which
God,
I think I'm over it.
no.
I'm over
He's
it.
over
I mean,
it. He's over
I'm
it.
over it. I'm over it. But yes, it is good and it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because actually, we also bounce off each other. You know, like you say, it is quite lonely what we're doing. We're in the middle of it all, and sometimes we're doing something, and I think, right, what's this? What's that? What, you know, he's really good on detail. To be fair to him, specs and details, and being really organised. I'm a bit more gun ho.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, which sort of makes it work. But yeah, it's great and it's fantastic. And I think, you know, we're lucky. You know, we're lucky. We can make a living in an industry that we enjoy. Got, you know, the history with my dad. And we're covering all of sort of southern England. So yeah, it is really good. And most importantly, I know I can trust him implicitly, though. If we're at a show, no disrespect to any of my colleagues, I know he'll look after my customers.
Yes.
And he knows I'll look after his, or like when he was away, this pricing thing just came up. He said, look, if you need some help with it all, I can help get that information because I had to be out there quickly. So yeah, it's great. So yeah, I think he'd probably like to come on the podcast, I'd imagine, Steve.
Ah, well,
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's you straight under the bus, Nigel.
Vic will be in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's it's been good from that point of view. And to be fair, you know, we worked closely with Stuart Hibbert.
Yeah.
Which again, that was just by an odd situation. I ended up working with Stuart.
Yeah. Tell us.
Well, I had left Sealy, couldn't go any further, if you like, because it was a key account role, and the sales director wanted the person to move up north, I think, to clean his car every day, because Jeff Davis loved cleaning his car anyway. The head office for the buying groups were all down here anyway, so I'm like, okay, it's not going to happen. Ended up going to Nestledown as a sales manager. Now, I've left Sealy, the Rolls Royce of the site, and gone to Nestledown. Two highly successful businesses, but very different. Yeah. Which is great. Again, learning, travelling, different places, being respectful.
Experience,
So I had 5 years there, and then they were about to take, owned by Cavell, they're going to take over Sleep Easy. I was living in South London, Sleep Easy, Morden, great. Yeah. So they get me to do the national sales manager stuff for that, so that was quite interesting. Talk about customer service, there was like a pile this high of customer service issues that hadn't been dealt with for whatever reason, because it was a changeover, but they were like, you know, Colonel Mustard's had his mattress and it's not up to standard and blah 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 blah. Anyway, dealing with all that was quite funny. Anyway, this isn't so funny. I was out in the West Midlands with the agent there, Mike Neary, lovely fella, and we were in a store, Coles of Bilston. And we just introduced myself to the salesperson. Hi, I'm Jason Hillier. They knew Mike, national sales manager in Nestledown Sleep Easy. I went, oh yeah. I said, just say it again. I said, Jason Hillier, national sales manager in Nestledown Sleep Easy. Oh yeah, my father-in-law's about to join them as sales director. Oh. I said, oh yeah. Who's that then? This little Stuart Hibbert. I went, oh right. Originally gone to Nestledown, there was an MD who was in his 50s.
Yes.
A sales director, Howard Wilson, in his 40s, and I was going in my 30s. There was a possible succession plan, the old corporate ladder. Yeah. Anyway, they're bringing Stuart Hibbert in, Howard's best mate. I said, okay, left the store. And I was staying at Mike's house, actually. I don't want to just happened to be staying there. So I thought I'd just give Howard a ring, shall I? And I did suggest to him whether he thought I could do the job or not. Yeah. It wasn't the way to treat me. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Went out that night with Mike, anyway, put the world to right, and got back to where I was living in South London, and I was upset. Yeah. It really pissed me off. Yeah. It really upset me. And I remember looking in the mirror thinking, I don't deserve to treat like that, and no one's going to treat me like that ever again. I'm not working for anybody. I'm going to work for myself. Yeah. Basically, you can all piss off. Do you know what I mean? It was really. I now understand why they had to make that decision, but the way it was done was terrible, and it really, really upset me. But it made me then decide my future was in my hands. Yeah. Nobody was going to hold my future in their hands. No. So I decided to become an agent. Yeah. So, bittersweet. Yeah. I've forgiven you, Howard. Just. I got a nice message from him this week, actually. So, all's good. So there, I'm about to become an agent. But it's quite difficult. I just start to become an agent. Yeah. Somebody doesn't come along and say, here's an agency doing X, Ironically, I'd spoken to Spunk Club many years before, but Bruce was already in the frame, which you understand and set up why. Anyway, came across a company called Hushaby. Yeah. So Mike Newry put me in touch with Peter Ball of Hushaby, and I went to see Peter in the summer of 2000, whatever it would have been. So I think now. And Peter said, look, I'd like to take you on as an agent. Yeah. So that'd be great. He said, I'll guarantee you £400 a month for 6 months. Okay. I'm like, wow, that's quite good, but in today's value is about £800-900. I'm like, that's okay, but there's no turnover. No. And I'm setting up, I'm about to move in with my girlfriend to rent a house, now my wife, she's a student teacher. I'm like, right. So I got some other agencies and I pinned it up on my wall. Always remember that? £400, that's all I had. And I never forget it. And I even think like that now, that's all I've got, And blimey, that gets you out of bed. But he backed me, which was great. And then other agencies come along. You get offered all sorts when you start, which is fine. It's quite flattering. Then I took on an agency doing furniture of the whole country because I'm going to do the whole country because I can do that, can't I? I then realised, no, I can't. I can't play rugby on a Saturday for starters. I'm too tired. Anyway, and that's how I started as an agent and then moved through. So then that's when, funny enough, I was off and running. I was doing some companies and Stuart was setting up doing vacuum packed mattresses. Yes. He was going to do it with yesterday it didn't work out. He became involved with Breesley, ownership of Breesley Consumer Products. Yeah. And Stuart said, would you come and work for me? Yeah. Ironically, the bloke that I'd been shafted for, but anyway, and I said, actually, I can. I had a roll-up company from Birmingham, Eurolux, and I had Menflex, which was Nigel Keynes' business that owned Bedworld. Yes. And I was doing really well with Menflex. Yeah. So I couldn't. And Stuart asked me again, and I said, no, I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway, then Nigel, I think Menflex decided not to supply the independents anymore. He was just going to take it all in-house. Right decision for him. I'm like, shit. Yeah. So I remember ringing Stuart, and he was in the Far East about 3 a.m, and he just went, yeah, when can you start? And I was like, oh, thank goodness for that. I need this. So that was it. So, and then that's how I started working with Stuart Breeze in the very early days. It went from nothing to 36 million. Yeah. Nigel, my brother, was brought in as a sales director because he was at Gainsborough. Wasn't really happening for him. He ended up then going on the road as an agent, and that was just a fantastic time.
Do you think the mindset, you said something there, that got me up in the morning. Do you think the mindset for a rep and an agent changes because you're more driven?
Yes. Yeah. You, as a commercial agent, and it's our decision to be a commercial agent, you're self-employed. Yeah. You only get paid when something is sold, it is delivered, and it is paid for. Yeah. And hopefully the principal pays you, which all my principals do, all the time, no fail. Yeah. But there is that worry. Yeah. With a rep, and there's some great reps out there, you've already got a salary, you've got probably a small commission. And I don't know so much about it, I think a lot of these guys now have massive areas and get a nice PAYE with very little commission. It's all up front, which is fine, and it's great because I don't know. No. I didn't know then. £400 a month. My wife's a student teacher. I mean, I had to borrow money to pay the rent. Yeah. It was scary. I was in 2003. I was away at the Rugby World Cup, and I genuinely couldn't pay the rent. No. So I had to sort of ask my mate to, could you just pop round and help out? But you never forget that. No. You never forget that, and that is always in the back of my mind. You cannot rest on your laurels. No. Because it can, I've had agencies, unfortunately, going to receivership or liquidation or
Yeah.
disappear, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because you firstly you owed money from a personal point of view,
Yes.
but secondly they've let your customers down.
Yes.
And we've been in these situations, and it's hard. You've introduced that principle to your customer, and they're selling stuff, and it's just an absolute bugger's muddle.
Yeah.
So I think the mindset, and it can be different. I think definitely.
Absolutely.
Is you're only as good as tomorrow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you've got to keep that. And I always think that facts. That facts from Hushabye, it was on my wall.
Yeah.
And, I think,
Yeah.
But you never forget these things, do you?
No.
And then opportunities come through situations, and look, here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
2026.
You took the risk.
Took the risk, calculated risk. And actually, to be fair, like now, back working with Stuart, he was exiled for a number of years. My brother and I, and a couple of other guys that have worked previously with him, back doing what we do. We just sell beds.
Although another, when you say about what happened there at Nestledown, if that hadn't happened, but a trauma actually shaped your route.
Absolutely, that is pivotal. Yeah,
yes.
That's pivotal to me, and I can remember the feeling now. I can remember, walking back to where I was staying in Streatham with Banksy at his house, and just remember that feeling. Yeah. And I think I had a bath. I never have a bath. I remember I was angry. I was angry. I could have been, but you never forget that, But
never have a bath. Only when you're angry.
Yeah, but I think probably just to restrain myself. But just looking in that mirror, I can remember just thinking, no, it's not right.
No.
But ultimately, you can't rely on anybody else.
No.
We all do what we do. We work in environments. We work with people. But you've got to be responsible for yourself, for your actions, haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's what you got to remember. And it was. It's quite a moment. But great, really.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. It's led me to do and work with some great people, some interesting people, some bizarre people, get involved in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But really enjoy what I do. Really enjoy it.
And I think that's a takeaway, really. We all go through traumas and difficult times, and at the time it seems as though it's... But actually it shapes us, and you come out of these things better. It's never cloudy forever. The clouds go.
Exactly. It's just it's a black cloud, there's the black dogs there, and it's like,
and then
all of a sudden it goes, you think,
if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here.
No, exactly for that. It's all chances and moments in life and opportunities. If I hadn't have done that, I could have reacted really badly. Yeah. And, would probably not have a relationship where I'm able to work with Stuart.
Exactly.
And do business. Do you know what I mean?
These things, dust yourself off. Right. Let's go on.
But actually, it's not so bad for you to have a little wedgie now and again, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
I think essential.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean, I'm not sure where you stand with health and safety, but just if you went round and just a little gentle wedgie to somebody every now and again.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
And not. Yeah.
So that was stress, and I know what you're going to say. So your de-stress is rugby.
Yeah, I mean, rugby's been a big part of my life. My wife would probably tell you when I first met her, I said, look, sport's really important, particularly rugby. It tends to sort of come first. I don't know if she thinks like 30 years later it's still the case. Because both my daughters play rugby as well. But I mean, I'm a massive fan of watching Bath rugby, but very involved in local community rugby. My local rugby club, Guildfordians. Started a girls section 10 years ago with a girl called Leanne Riley, who in Fontaine now, who played for Quinn Saracens in England, 70 odd caps, and she was setting up a girls section, and I can remember one New Year's Eve, my friend said, look, Jess was about 9, I think at the time. Do you think Jess would be interested in playing rugby? No, I had a passion for rugby. I was still playing a bit of very bad rugby for the Battersea Ironsides in South London, and I said, I don't know. I mean, she's a swimmer, and a ballerina, which she was at the time, maybe ask her. Anyway, so my friend asked her. Anyway, about a week later, having Sunday lunch, and I shall never forget it. Over Sunday lunch, and Jess looked up. She said, "About this trying this rugby at Guildford," and she said, "I might just give this a go." Obviously, my wife was quite a look that particular, you know. And I said, "Look, Jess, obviously, you know, it's a bit different from ballet and swimming and stuff, but you know, if you want to go along, I'll take you along." Anyway, borrowed some boots off my friend that had suggested it. And we went along, and she met Leanne and some other girls, and just absolutely loved it. Took to rugby like a duck to water, and we've had 10 amazing years. And then my other daughter, Natasha, she's been playing for about 5 or 6 years as well. But inevitably what happens is you go along as a parent and just watch. You hold a tackle pad, or actually a sausage, because you can't hold a tackle pad. And then before you know it, you got a coach's kit on, and you're a lead coach of Guildfordians under 12 girls, which, you know, was just fun. And that's what happened 10 years ago. So then, you know, that takes up Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons, maybe one evening in the week. But it's truly fantastic.
Escape.
You know? It's escape, but more importantly, the joy I can see that rugby's given these girls. Some of them were with me for 10 years. This is the year where I lost half last year, half this year, that have been with me all the way along. And I've seen them grow from, you know, young girls to grown women. But play a really good standard rugby. And watch them grow as people. And watch them turn up. They're willing to turn up on a cold, freezing cold Sunday morning in February at Stoke Park on the hill, and it's like -2, or a wet windy night at Guildford, it's pouring with rain. They're happy to do it. And the joy it gives them, but the friendships that it's given them as well. And also some life skills as well, you know, being part of a team. There's a big thing in rugby, the RFU, it's called core values. It's called TREADS. Teamwork, respect, enjoyment, discipline, sportsmanship. And core values are what you embrace on the pitch and off the pitch. And we big on that very early on, and you can see it with them, you know, just the way they conduct themselves on the pitch. You know, they're tough and hard, but also when they're off it, they're respectful of the opposition and stuff. But it's really important to see that now. And the girls have gone on; they've played at the Stoop, which is Harlequin's ground, in 3 finals. You know, been able to go into the professional changing room. You know, last year I'm sat, you know, Jess, my daughter, and other girls, I sat with people like Danny Kerr and Marcus Smith sit, you know, with Guildfordian girls. We're not a big junior club, but we've got a really strong girls section. And they're playing live on YouTube at the Stoop.
Wow.
I mean, how amazing is that for them? For them as young girls, where girls sport, particularly in rugby, it's only in recent years that people have embraced it. There's still clubs now that don't have a girls section.
Wow.
But it's really important to them because it's hard being a girl. You know, I think it's because a teenage girl in today's world, what you look like, what you say, what you wear, where you go, they can go to any rugby club and just feel part of it. Because, and it's true of any rugby club, any sex, no one gives a toss who you are, what you do for a living, where you live, where you go on holiday. They just want for the love of rugby. And that's really important. And I've been privileged to be part of their journey. And I've had some wonderful players that are going on and are playing for professional teams. You know, that's
incredible.
You know, they've played, you know, girls playing at England under 18s, Scotland under 18. We've got a girl at Quins, Ruby Winstanley's been signed by them. And we've got a number of other of my girls are all going on this year to colleges and contracts with these clubs. It's just brilliant. And that is, like I say, that's all encompassing. And listen, it takes time and dedication, but I love it. Rugby's given me a lot, you know. You can go anywhere in the world and pretty much, if put a rugby shirt on or go into bar talk, people talk rugby. Do you know what I mean? You know, I said it to a friend of mine who, from a football background, and we were talking about this, and he didn't really get it. I said, I tell you what, and he started watching Bath with us a little. I said, put a Bath shirt on. He lived in West London at the time. Just see what happens. And he said, oh my God, you're right. He said, who people come and talk to you? Because generally it's a safe, friendly environment. You know, so rugby's given me a lot of friendship, some amazing times, and some really close friends, and it's brilliant. You're seeing it now. You know, I see daughter's at Cardiff Uni. First game of the season, she played Exeter. I went to watch. She's playing against her best mate from Guildfordian Girls.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think you touched on it when you was first speaking about the rugby, and it's not just, you know, it's fantastic to see them go on and professional careers, but actually the bigger picture is that teamship and being part of something, and I do shows as you know, and it's exactly the same thing, isn't it? And we had Dr. Nick come in a few months ago now probably, but he was saying about the three main causes of early death, and one of them, there's diet, there's so there was diet, there was activity, but also loneliness.
Yes.
And these things that we do,
where
we bring people together, you know, it's having friendships, you know, and you think of all the contact we have with phones and stuff, but there's more loneliness today than there ever
It's a really good point, and actually that's very true, and that's the one thing I've seen with this girls rugby and the men's rugby, that it just brings people together.
Yeah.
Just brings people together. I say, you've not got to be successful, you're not going to be the best of it, just turn up.
Yeah.
And we just see it with girls. You know, we've had, you know, with a policy, it's in line with the offer, but everybody plays. Like when we played in these finals, all the girls get half a game, right? We played our big rivals a while back, and some of the girls didn't get selected because they didn't think they were quite good enough, so they didn't get to play. And I thought that was pretty poor.
Yeah.
Every one of our girls, wherever we've gone, they all get a run out.
Absolutely. And that's
Just, it's all about enjoyment. So I've had this many conversations with parents when we started coaching.
Yeah.
It was all about winning, Jason. No, it's not. It's all about enjoyment. With enjoyment will come winning.
Yes.
But they must enjoy themselves.
Yes.
That is crucial, number one. But you won't have it now in, you know, you sit on the sidelines of rugby, football, wherever, you know, all about winning. It's not all about winning, it's about enjoyment.
Yeah.
And that's really crucial. So it's been great. So that is just, you know, it's been fantastic. And I've done this journey with this current crop, and I'm now going back to Tash's age group under 16 to get involved there. And Leanne went off on a baby, so I ended up being head of girls rugby as well. So there's a few things I have to get involved in there. But you know, I'm just privileged to be part of their journey.
Yeah, that's great.
And you know, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, well done. That's awesome. Should we do some quick fire questions?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quick fire questions for
Okay.
you. Yep. Question number 1. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I've been given plenty of advice. Plenty of advice. But I think for me, when I started out as an agent, Steve Holly at the Bedpost said to me, Biff, as I was known as for my bad golf, nicknamed by I think Ian at 40 Winks and Bedpost, was first of all, you've got to be patient.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's all about your integrity.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
You know, being honest, and which I am.
Yes.
You know, and I thought that was really important. That's always sort of stuck with me. So thank you for that, Steve.
Yeah. Shout out to Steve. Yeah. We got away with Steve.
Yeah, no, we do, yeah. He's retired now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, not that well. I didn't know he retired.
Well, Ollie is taking the business on there.
Brilliant. Okay. Question number 2. Favourite holiday destination?
That would be...
Yeah. Oh, I suppose that should change to, where have you been that's been your favourite place that you've visited?
A favourite place I've probably been to is Manly in Australia. Manly Beach. I've been there twice backpacking. Got stung by a jellyfish there. That wasn't a nice experience. No. But I went back in 2003 for the Rugby World Cup, and the England team was staying there. So I've been up in Brisbane for the quarters, and I was down in Manly for the semis and finals. So you saw all the players apart from Johnny Wilkinson and Clive Woodward, but the beach and the whole area. I was staying with some Aussie friends that I'd met through cricket, and that would be pretty special.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Good answer. Okay, third question. One word to describe the furniture industry.
I'd say wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I think it's just a great industry to work in. You know, I've seen so many changes. Think back to the Sleep Council when they started, when they were
Yeah.
trying bed recycling was like 20 to 15 years, and now it's down to 7 to 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's just the changes that have come and the people and it's
Passion.
just passion, and it's just great, isn't it? It's just enjoyable.
It is.
It's enjoyable. I never, very rare think, I don't go to work today.
No.
Well, I've got a hangover, but
Definitely. Okay. What is the best part of a product training session for you?
Best part. I quite like when somebody, it doesn't happen very often, doesn't really want to be there at training.
Yeah.
So probably again more so with the mattress protectors.
Yeah.
Bear in mind we do them in the evening.
Yeah.
People can be a bit, evening. And you can spot it early on.
Yeah.
Particularly because I will know them often from being in the stores.
Yeah.
But when they come in group environment,
Yeah.
people don't like groups sometimes, or don't want to speak up, or their body language is like, I'm not interested. Or they get the phone out and stuff. But when we can catch them on a wave or just something, or involve them without embarrassing them or making them belittling them, when we get some engagement from them, and 9 times out of 10 we will, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. I think, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's that's probably for me.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Love that. Okay. And fifth and final question. If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting these are my political views, but I think Margaret Thatcher would have been a really interesting character. Because I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And saw the changes happening when
Yeah.
Conservatives come to power,
Yeah.
the miners' strike. But being a woman in a man's world, I think because I'm not suddenly become a champion of like girls and but because I've got 2 daughters and been heavily involved in girls' sport, and we've had lots of challenges with clubs where they don't treat the women as fairness to the men. How did Margaret Thatcher in her day, come into what was a serious man's world and become the leader that she was? And world leader. So I think that would be fascinating.
I think that's really good.
I'm not saying I'm not aligning to her views, but I just think, wow,
what shaped
what she went through, and nearly losing her life in the Brighton bombings, and having to deal with the Cold War and everything. I just think it'd be fascinating. And she only had like 5 hours kipping on or something. So I think
obviously didn't have one of our beds.
Clearly, all the right pillows. Exactly. So
Margaret Thatcher. Great. Wow, that's brilliant. Well, thank you, Jason.
Great.
That's the end of our podcast. So thank you for sharing so much. It's been really fascinating. Next week we are joined by Babatunde. Babatunde. And he's an architect coming in to talk to us about sustainable design and how great spaces can improve everyday living. So, very different.
Wow.
Completely out there.
Make sure I subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you not?
I have subscribed. Of course I have. I've listened to everyone.
So that's it. That's a wrap. As always, we've got new episodes dropping every single Wednesday, so don't forget to tune in. And if you want any more unfiltered business talk, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn at An Unorthodox CEO. So that's it. If you're listening in the morning and you're waking up and the sun is shining, it wasn't this morning, it was chucking down with rain. If the sun is shining, smile. Thank you for listening. If you're out jogging along the seafront, jogging through the fields, listening to our podcast, thank you very much. And if you're settling down in your Sussex beds, ready for your great night's sleep, thank you again for listening, and we will catch you next week. Thank you and good night. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.